10 years ago, we had no idea that social media would become a platform that would turn many into millionaires by sharing skincare products, hair products, or sharing pictures of our food. And I believe that in 2020, we have entered into a new level of modern day voyeurism. And I want to ask, are we too comfortable? Today, we will dive into one family's tragedy and speak about how to prevent this from happening to you or someone you love. This is Rich Love Society.
Precious and priceless, precious and priceless, precious and priceless.
This is a cautionary tale, and as someone that's been abducted and gone missing before, I can say that one of the biggest questions and most common questions that I get is, how could this happen? And the truth is, this could happen to anyone. Today we're going to be speaking about Alexis Sharkey, 26-year-old executive director, businesswoman, and influencer. The perspective I want to come from is not just her being an influencer, but her being a wife, her being a daughter, a sister, and a friend. Originally from Pennsylvania, Alexis Sharkey and Tom Sharkey moved to Houston, Texas, where I'm also from. So this kind of really hits home a little bit because I actually know the apartment where her and her husband stayed and the back road where she was found. But on November 28th, her body was found on a street 3 miles from her home, and she was found by a dump truck driver, and he saw her legs sticking out of the grass, and she was naked. I think that this is really traumatic to this area because things like this don't happen. Like, if you know the Memorial area, it's more affluent. It's kind of like the River Oaks area, or if we could compare it to like Manhattan in New York, the city center with Lifetime Fitness Gym, and it's right next to two intersecting freeways. You have Beltway 8 and you have I-10, so there's so much traffic that could come from this area. The really interesting thing is the husband says that they were in a good place, that their marriage was strong, and that Alexis was his life partner. He said that Alexis was always stressed and that her online persona was a facade. But what's really interesting is when ABC reporter Steve Campion spoke to the husband, he said that his answers were a little disjointed, and if he would ask a question, he would respond in a way that kind of didn't answer the question. There's a little bit of confusion in the stories here because the friends are saying that the marriage was on the rocks. Quote, "I'm going to be honest, she confided in me about how worried she was for her safety when we went to Marfa, Texas, almost a month ago. We were sitting down at dinner and she lost it. We walked back to our hotel room and she confided in me that night in things. I looked at her and thought, she's petrified. This girl is scared for her life." So when the authorities, or when the reporters asked her why she was worried for her life, the friends chose to stay quiet because they didn't want to jeopardize the homicide investigation, which is pretty normal. But there has been no information on that, and they're not, like the media, I think people really get things misconstrued. The media is not the judge and jury. They do not make the decisions for, who's guilty of what. Having certain feelings about your spouse at times is normal. So to say that their marriage might have been on the rocks or she was wanting a divorce, that's not something that's just like, absolutely, the husband killed her. No. The mom believes that she was murdered, without a doubt. She believes, just from her motherly instinct. The Houston Police Department, homicide detectives, and coroner have said that there's no cause of death, no evidence of foul play, and no signs of trauma. There's tons of clear surveillance evidence that they're going to have to comb through. There's a lot of cameras in that area. It's right by the freeway. So I do believe that they'll have some type of trail to follow. What's really interesting is the husband said that he has faith that the police will find everyone involved. So I'm thinking, everyone involved. How do you know it's multiple people? The husband is fully cooperating with the police and the homicide detectives, giving phone records, texts, emails. The husband of Alexis Sharkey's Instagram profile is private right now, and he's receiving death threats. And I know that people want to make it make sense. Like, you want to understand how a person could just be dumped off like garbage. But I think that there's something that people really aren't speaking about, is there has been quite a few murders and women bodies found in Houston, Texas the last, I guess, few weeks. So I don't know if this is something that's related to anything, but people are on edge. I saw an interview with a mother, and the comments that were under that video were absolutely disgusting. It was like, it really made me think about in Genesis when God spoke about just really being unhappy and just disappointed and kind of regretting making humans and just being done, and the only blameless person he could find was Noah. And people used to live to almost 1,000 years old, and God was like, yo, I can't, like, I'm tired of that. Like, no one will live longer than 120 years old. Like, that's it. No more living to 1,000, 700, 900. Just to go through a few of them. They're really awful and really disgusting. One of them says, yawn, people literally die every day in Houston. Hashtag move on. I'm sorry. What if this was your child? What if this was your daughter? What if this was you? Would you want for people to hashtag move on and just yawn? Really? One person states, I don't know about you, but if I feared for my life, I probably wouldn't venture out much. They're treating this victim as if she was a celebrity or something. Sure, it sucks, but where's this kind of reporting on all the other murders around town? I hear what you're saying, but once again, how disgusting. And then the response to that is, because she's pretty. Pretty girls shouldn't be killed. Prayers for her family and loved ones. Like, I'm sorry. How condescending can you be? Pretty girls shouldn't be killed. The next one says, is it just me, or does the mom seem to come off as fake? She doesn't look like she is grieving at all and is oddly calm and even smiling at the beginning. Towards the end, it seems like she is forcing emotion. Weird. And then the next one says, waterboarding the husband will render the truth. And then the last one, when I was just done, $20, it was the husband. So now we're betting on this situation. I'm just like, what is going on with society? Are we that desensitized? So now we're just like, people die and it's just no big deal. But had that been your family, I think people forget that people are human. But I digress. The mother reached out to let everyone know that her daughter was missing on Facebook, and then she followed up with another message confirming that her body was found. Society is cold, and it's really got to stop, because if this was you, you would want people to fight to find out who killed you. You would want for people to mourn and get to the bottom of this. It is no one's business. It is no one's right to be able to judge and talk down on anyone because of their lack of emotion. Because if she got on there crying too much, then people would say, oh, she's putting on a show. Oh my gosh, she's crying too much. She's acting. If you know anything about what I do and the brands and nonprofits that I work with, this is really a part of something that we keep our eyes open for. It's normally with human trafficking survivors and other girls in the foster care system. But I think that when it comes to the internet and social media, I really believe that people forget that it's not just about the children. and the children's safety, because that's a big factor. Oh, kitty cat. That's not a... Oh, kitty cat. Girl. Oh, you just want people to see you? Okay, let me show you. Come here. You want to go? Okay, fine. I got a beautiful cat, but she trying to be famous. As women and even men, please don't get it twisted, because things happen to men all the time too. Please do not believe that it's just the women that are in danger and the kids that are in danger. The men are in danger too. Like that meme or that video where it says, hide your kids, hide your wife.
So y'all need to hide your kids, hide your wife, and hide your husband. Because
it's not about fear. It's about being prepared and being aware. And so how to tell if you've gotten too comfortable online. We're in a society where we order our food online. We order toiletries online. We can order anything online. Look at Jeff Bezos and Amazon. How much moolah was made over this pandemic. Everything is online. Ooh, look at my little aim. Oh, it's backwards. My little amen. You see my little amen thing right here? Right there. Oh, I love my cup here. Hold on. It's a good thing I didn't have my water up here. She would have messed up my laptop. Girl, whether you have 1 follower or 1 million followers, you cannot get too comfortable and lenient with who you're interacting with online and how much you're sharing online. One thing you can do is set your profiles to private. I mean, if you're not an influencer or you're not trying to sell things or you're not trying to build a brand and you want to keep it real tight and close knit, make your profile private. I share what I want to share. Like, I share enough to where people think that they know what's up, but they don't really know. I'm not saying to live in fear, but I want for people to be prepared and vigilant, especially women, to not overshare. People don't need to know everything. People don't need to know everything you do on every single day at every single time that you're doing it. It's just redundant and ridiculous. Like, people want to know about your life, but you need to be careful. You know, if people know where you work, things are a little different now because of the pandemic where a lot of people are working from home. But if someone knows your schedule and that you go to work from 8 to 5 every day and they know where you work, it's not going to be hard to find you. What you do is make sure that you block anyone that bothers you. There's always trolls. So sometimes people will just talk smack, but they're just talking. But some people really want to do you harm. Not everyone is your friend. Patterns can be deadly because if you're posting where you work, your work hours, every day that you go to the gym, you're tagging the gym, you got to switch it up. Any criminal, if you ask any criminal, they know when you're in your car and you're leaning forward, they know you're putting something under the seat. They know there's people that sit out in their cars and watch us, especially during the holidays. They know when you're reaching over like this, they know you just put something in the glove box. So don't think that you're fooling anyone. Be spontaneous. Your vacation locations. If you go to, Tulum, whenever, and you go to the same resort every time, and you're an influencer, and you're like, in March, I'm going to Tulum. They know where you're going to be if you go to the same resort every time that you go to Tulum. And the internet is global. So don't think it's just the people in your city and your town. Somebody in Tulum is going to know where you are. Let your friends and family know about your online choices. One thing that I saw in a lot of the interviews, they kind of didn't know what was going on with Alexis. Like, her sister is up north, and when they asked, about her, she really didn't know. And this is not to fault anyone, but if you know that you're going to start dating on Tinder, or you're going to start renting your house out for Airbnb, there's a lot more human interaction than there was back in the day. Let someone know. Maybe you're very private. You don't have to let your family know. Let your best friend know. So if you go missing, they'll be like, okay, well, she had just started dating on Tinder, like maybe we can look there, you know, just so that people know what's going on with you. Don't let your secrecy and your privacy to people that you can trust and that love you be the death of you because you wanted to be so secretive about everything. And I think we really need to get out of the mindset of being judged, because people are going to judge you no matter what. This is about your safety. Be selective with your friend requests. Not everyone deserves access to you. You know, period. Live in the moment. Having our phones at all times, I think one thing that 2020 has really taught us is just how precious life is, how important the people in our lives are, and how you can't get time back. You can't get people back. And living in the moment is something that a lot of people don't do. If you go to a concert, I mean, maybe not right now, but in the past, if you went to a concert, you would see a sea of cell phones. Come here. Come here. Come here, baby. Come here. Let me pick you up. This is my Roscoe. Oh, look at him purr. Look, you're on camera. You're on camera. Aww. Don't do the comparison game, because not everything is as it seems. I have so many friends and different people in my life that if you look at them on social media and you see how they portray themselves online, it's totally different than their real life. I know people that look so happy, but they're miserable. Some people that are millionaires that you would think they got all the best. They can have the car, they got the house, they got the wife, they're miserable. So don't always look at someone's life and think, oh, if I had their life, or oh, I want their life. You don't know what you're wanting. And if you actually knew the whole picture, you may not want it. If you had money, you wouldn't have any problems anymore. They'd just be different ones. They would just be different ones, but you would still have problems. That's just life and humanity. It's kind of inevitable. One thing that I've noticed, and some of my influencer friends with very large followings say how far away things are. Or they'll be at home and they'll say, oh, such and such place is 19 minutes away, or 19 miles away, or whatever the case may be. And I'm like, with the internet, you can try and figure things out. If you know enough about the inside of someone's apartment, and you hear this far away, that far away, leaving their apartment, people are getting way too comfortable online. And there are some people that are complete psychopaths. Assuming everyone is our friend, not true. And one thing that I noticed is that Alexis went to her friends and said that she was unhappy. Do it afraid. Go to the authorities. If you are really afraid for your life, whether someone's abusing you, someone's threatening you, so really putting yourself in other people's shoes is never a good idea, because your feet will never fit. All of these dating apps, Tinder, Plenty of Fish, Christian Mingle, I mean, there's so many of them. You're really opening the door to anyone. And we're just so accustomed to that. You get into an Uber, you get into a Lyft, you don't know who that person is. And it's not as if they've gone through an extensive training to prove that they're not a psychopath. It's kind of like anyone with a car that has 4 doors can be a driver. I mean, I'm sure that there's high stakes, like there's certain criminal offenses that you can't have. But at the same time, I know I don't just get into any car with anybody just because. One, because of coronavirus now. We are the gatekeepers to our lives. We are the ones that can decide whatever we want for ourselves, what we want to portray, what we want to show, what we want to keep to ourselves. And as much as we love to share, you don't have to share everything. And I want to know, what do you do to stay safe online? Because everyone has their own factors depending on where you live, you know, how you get around town, your transportation. Are you on the bus? Are you on a bike? Are you in a car? What do you do to stay safe? Because I really want to create an atmosphere where people can feel safe and people can help one another. So please be kind in the comments and let me know down below what you do personally to stay safe. What you do for your kids, what you tell your kids to do, what you do. You know, if you're going on a date, someone you don't know, what is something that you do to stay safe? Especially my women, comment down below and let us know what you do so we can adopt some of those ideas. So here's the nitty gritty. I know how the Alexis Sharkey case looks. My cats are just wilding out, man. Look at this. Meow meow. What is she doing? I know how it seems, but I would want to ask a few questions. Where's the car? First of all, because the husband said when she left, and this is how it makes me wonder if they were having problems. And if you were having problems, just say that. Any couple, married or not, you're gonna have problems. There may be times where you leave and you're upset. That's any relationship. Even friends can have problems. So for him to say that they were happy-go-lucky and there were no problems, but then he said that when she left, she was intoxicated, and he was telling her not to leave when she had been drinking or inebriated. I can't remember the word that he used. Why would she leave if she was intoxicated? You know what I'm saying? Like, did she just want to go out to party? Were y'all arguing? Did she just want to get away? So that is definitely something that really raises a red flag to me. Just as a person. And then also, where is the car? Because if her body was found, where are her clothes and where is her car? Like I said, marriage is rough. Marriage is rough. So if they were talking divorce, that doesn't mean he was trying to kill her, okay? And also, if they've been married for a year, how long were they dating, or how long did they know each other before? Because I don't care what anyone says, a year, you still don't know who a person is after a year. Because I'm in my 30s and I still don't fully know myself. So for them to have been dating, or for them to have been married a year, I'd be interested to know how long they knew each other, where they met, and how long they dated before they were married. I know how it seems, but honestly, I'm seeing something different from this case. Everything, I mean, like, it doesn't look good. Even the reporter said that he hung up on him the first time that they spoke for about 6 minutes. So to say how someone should react after losing someone, everyone handles it differently. So to say that the mom could have been in it, some people said that she probably hired someone to kill. I mean, like, stop it. Oh, the internet, all these keyboard warriors and keyboard gangsters, man, like, y'all are ridiculous. If you know an influencer, whether they overshare or not, please share this story and this video with them, because it could happen to any one of us, influencer or not. Not everyone that sees you winning, doing good, making money just to live your life being an influencer, they're not always happy about that. And some people are sick. Like the things that I've seen in combating human trafficking, some people are sick. I don't normally talk about every alleged murder. You know, everything is alleged because we don't know. But this one really felt differently, and I'm picking up some different things. And I think that people need to be mindful of what they're doing online, what they're saying, what they're posting, what they're sharing. This is not a joke. And I know that someone watching this needed to see this. And someone that you know needs to see this. Look at the little face. That face. Baby boy.
Straight and triumphant. Power within, we win, we made it, it's nothing. Demolish your obstacle, victory probable.